Boys, I want to talk to you today about purpose. Purpose is something that I've wanted to know for my own life since I was like 14 years old. I was trying to figure out what is my purpose in this world. Because if I could know what my purpose was, then I could start preparing for it. Then I could start positioning my life to get ready for this grand adventure that it would be. But as much as I researched and took personality assessments and strengths tests and all these kinds of things, I never found my purpose. And in a lot of these self-improvement videos, you're going to hear guys saying, you have to find your purpose. Hamza says that a lot. He's one I think of. You have to find your purpose as a man if you want to develop. And then on the Christian side, you talk to those guys for a while, which I guess I'm a part of that, right? It's like, well, your purpose is to glorify God and enjoy Him forever, right? Yeah, that's true. But isn't it funny how that looked a lot different for Paul than it did for Samson, than it did for Noah, than it did for David, than it did for Peter, than it did for Jesus himself? They all did that in a sense, but it looked very different. And so that's not helpful. Sorry. It's true, but it's not helpful. Okay? True things are not always helpful things. Practically, what does it look like? You talk to the church and it's like, well, stand up for the weak, love the lost, be a good father and husband. Okay, yeah, that's, if you're preaching to a crowd of 500 people, that's great to say. And it's true, but not for me, not for you. Because maybe you're a single guy, or maybe you realize that you are not reduced to the familial role that you're playing at a given time. I am not a father. Maybe I do fatherhood, but that's not who I am, because if, God forbid, my kid should pass away, I don't cease to be who I am. I'm just no longer playing the father role. Do you see the difference? So I couldn't figure out what my purpose was, and only looking back do I see how God has been preparing me to do what I'm doing now, coaching men, helping them with confidence, motivation, overcoming addiction, and attracting high quality women. That's what I do now, by the way. And what I've found is He's been preparing me for the thing I'm doing now, but I would not call the thing I'm doing now my purpose. The thing I'm doing now is not some magical thing that I was swept away into. It's been a process of grueling, indefinite persistence in doing the thing that was right in front of me the whole time and bringing my purpose with me. See, they will lie to you. It's this mix of like sell you something, red pill masculinity with a little bit of Disney Channel sprinkled on top. This idea that purpose is going to come in like a knight in shining armor and rescue you from this life of mediocrity, when that's not the case. It's not going to do that. That's in the movies. That's not for you. That's not for me. Maybe when you write a book someday about everything you did, you can romanticize it a little bit, as we tend to do in retrospect, and make it sound like some sort of a magical adventure. But the nitty-gritty day-to-day is very tough. It's a grind. Greatness is developed in the darkness, but celebrated in the spotlight. And when greatness is being developed in the darkness, it's just not sexy. When everybody sees the achievement at the end, which is not always the case, but if and when they do, that's when it becomes this magical, mystical thing. But as it's being developed, it's not that at all. So what I had to learn is that my purpose isn't in the future. It's something right in front of me, right here, right now. And to develop my purpose as a man, what that really means is to bring purpose and intention into every single thing that I do. It means to be fully present and aware of everything that I'm doing in the moment, to be fully engrossed and engaged, to be flowing from a place of alignment, head to toe. Everything that I believe should produce my feelings, should produce my thoughts, should produce my words, should produce my vibe, should produce my actions, all in alignment with how God has designed me to be as a man, and in alignment with his principles that he has put me on this earth to follow and manifest. Okay? That's what it is. And here's the beautiful thing about a man walking with intention and purpose and alignment is he can live his purpose in everything. Whether he is making himself a cup of coffee, consoling a friend, building a business, doing a workout, it doesn't matter what he's doing. It matters how he's doing it. What is he bringing with him into that moment? When you learn to bring presence and intention and purpose into whatever you're doing, big things start to happen. There's a reason why at the age of 16, barely 17 maybe, I was running the most stressful, high-intensive, customer-focused, delivery-based position in the highest grossing restaurant in Bentonville, Arkansas, home of the Walmart World Headquarters. I was running the busiest position in the restaurant during the busiest day, the busiest time of day in the busiest restaurant in the town. And it's not because everything I do comes naturally to me. I am not the most gifted at anything. I can't tell you one thing that I'm the most gifted at, except maybe providing advice. I'm pretty good at that. But the things that I've had to do around that are very hard for me, or just average, or maybe a little bit above average. But never have I just naturally excelled to the top. But at the age of just 17, still in high school, I was running this position in the restaurant because I was obsessed with bringing my best into everything. That's why I graduated college in 2.5 years with a 4.0 grade point average. That's why in the Walmart World Headquarters, when I got my first job, I got several promotions in a short time span. That's why when I quit Walmart and started my own marketing firm, I actually went back in to that retail space and started serving vendors that worked for Walmart, full circle. That's why when I left my marketing venture to work as a barista, I went from the lowest paid employee of a company with a handful of stores to the highest paid employee with a company that now has over 400 stores. It is a relentless, tenacious bringing of your purpose into everything you do. And guys, this is not to say that my motives were always good. This is not to say that I didn't have tons of help. All right? But what you'll find, what I've found, is the people who live an impactful life can put their ego aside and they can be the restaurant worker. They can be the barista. They can be the door-knocking new business owner that has nothing. And then they can throw it all away to become a coach, like I did now, or like I did after that. You have to let go of this ego, of this mystical, whimsical, my purpose is out there, it's gonna come find me, like Hagrid's gonna say, "You're a wizard, Harry," and give me my letter. Or Gandalf's gonna knock, knock, knock on the door and whisk me away on this adventure. And then you sit for years, if not decades, piddling around, not living your best life, wasting the prime years of youth and vitality that God has given you. For why? Because you just don't know. You're waiting around on your purpose. Bro, you're missing the point. You're in the matrix, you're stuck. You're waiting on some movie magic to happen in your life that won't happen. What God has given you to do is from Him. He has directed and collected the things that make up your life now despite your mistakes. You may think that you've screwed yourself up to the point where you've got to where you are now. And some of that is true, but if you're a child of God, He is redeeming those things and He is working all of those things together for your good. So don't abandon what He has put in front of you. It is what it is. He who is faithful in little will be faithful with much. And if you're just being piddly with a little, you're not doing anything with it, then I can guarantee you God's not going to send one of His angels with a new mission for you. He's not going to say, oh, we've been watching you. You just need somebody to give you a chance. No, your chance is right in front of you right now. And until you can sacrifice the ego and say, hey, I'm going to be the best sweeper of floors, the best cruncher of spreadsheets, the best developer of software, the best maker of coffee, whatever it is, until you can commit fully to the present moment, cleaning your room, doing your homework, I don't care, whatever it is, until you can bring your purpose into that moment, you're not going to level up and find that adventure. But if you do, you will have all the adventure that you could ever want. And I'll warn you, it's fully complete. It's not just the highs. It's not just the lows. When you're watching the sports movie or the Rocky, the Creed, the boxing, they'll show the training scenes for like half as long as a song is, right? They'll play a song over this training montage of like through the snow and in the heat and the ice baths and the weights and the cardio, and it's just brutal for like half of a song worth of the movie. And then the rest of the movie is celebrating greatness in the spotlight. But it tricks you into thinking that that's how life works. It's not. It's mostly the grueling training. It's mostly that. It's mostly sacrificing the ego and sucking at something for a very long time. That's what it is for the most part. But we sit there and we get fed these matrix lies that make us think, oh no, I just have to like put in a little effort and then, things are just going to happen. They're going to come my way. No. That sells movies. It makes good motivational videos. It makes a good story, but that's not how it works. Never has been, never will be. He who is faithful with little will be faithful with much. And I guarantee you, no matter who's watching this, whatever you have now is little compared to what you could be given if you're faithful with what you have now. If you are in the gym, be fully in the gym. If you're in the gym, don't go there just to stay in shape. If you're in the car driving to the gym, you can think that in your head, oh, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to stay in shape. But if you're in the gym, you're going to be in there for what, 30 minutes, an hour? Make that 30 minutes or an hour where you train to be Arnold. Make it to where you train to be a warrior. You're already there. You're already there. Why not be fully there? Why not be everything you can be in that moment? Train to be a lethal machine. Don't just train to stay in shape. I've been in the gym for a long time and there's guys who look the same. They look the same for years, if not decades, because they're not present where they're at. They're distracted. They're not fully there. They're not giving it everything they have. When you're in the gym, give it your all. When you're sweeping the floor, give it your all. When you're doing your homework, give it everything. Set aside 30 minutes and just do homework. Lock in. Don't waste the time, the irreplaceable, finite time that you have, and the ever-dwindling youth and vitality that you have, because you're on the sidelines saying, when will I find my purpose? I appreciate you all. We broke 200 subscribers. Follow me on Instagram at NarrowWayMan. And if you want a catalyst to get you out of the rut that you are in and catapult you into the next phase of growth, to overcome addiction, build confidence, and attract high quality women, you can book a call with me. There's a link below. But if not, that's okay too. I appreciate you watching. See you next time.